Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Deliberately Intentional with me, your host, Remi Fagbohun. We have a guest in the studio today. It is someone that is very, very special to my heart. He's my best friend. He's the love of my life. He's my baby daddy, the one that has made me laugh the most and cry the most in my entire life. He's my sexy chocolate, Mr. Adebayo Fagbohun, my husband. Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. Is that your baby daddy?
How you know my baby daddy?
Wow.
You're my baby daddy.
Well, I love. I'm so proud of you, sweetheart.
Aww, thank you.
For this new terrain. You've supported me for 23 years, and just seeing what you've done to me and our son Charles, and for you taking into this podcast community, it's gonna be magnificent because we always say you're the brains of the family. Yes, you are. I fell in love with you because you're just a great person. You're very smart, and there's so much to you. And I'm really excited that you're going to be sharing that with the world. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. What he will not tell you is that I was not his type when we first met.
There we go.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay, sure.
Why is this important for people to know? Everybody seems to think that, oh, I'm not his type. This is my type. But I'm going to let him tell the story. I was not his type initially.
Well, do we have to start there? Sure.
Yeah,
Talking about type. Well, 23 years ago, I'm not the man that I am today.
Agreed.
So I had this notion in my head about a specific woman that I would like to go out with then. She's always of a specific race. She has to be mixed in some ways. So
for the people out there, he wasn't really that into black girls. That's the long and short of it.
Oh, Lord.
No, but No, I'm saying it because why is it important? It's important because a lot of people think that, oh, if you need to be a certain way. But that was what you had a type, but it wasn't like it was just their race. You also liked their personalities.
That's very true. I did have a type of woman that I was going out with then. And
until I rocked your boot.
But the truth of the matter is, my mom actually told me I would marry a black Nigerian person. I looked at her, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Off your rockers.
But it has a lot to do with your personality. It's just because you actually liked different.
Absolutely.
You liked different.
Sure.
You liked different. You didn't, and you also used to think that Nigerian girls were boring. Used to.
That is true.
Exactly.
Until I met you.
Okay. So
many years ago, I wouldn't have stepped to someone like you for sure.
If I didn't step to you. If I didn't step to you, because I have no problem saying I shot my shot. I was like, hey, hello, Elga, come. So
that is true. One thing I do like about you is your boldness, right? You're very different from the girls that I've been with, because I would tell, people to do A and they would do it. But with you, it was kind of like you would challenge me, and I'm like,
always still do.
Like, are all American girls like this? Like,
no, not all.
Right? Because English girl wouldn't challenge you. They would just kind of like conform to whatever I say. But with you, it was kind of like different. So type, yeah, definitely. But today, it's a different story. You are definitely my type today.
I became your type.
Fast forward, because you are extremely smart, and that's what I fell in love with. And you are just so outspoken.
Spicy.
And extremely sexy. Extremely.
I was saying spicy. Okay, but we are doing just PG. You have to be nice on this one, because it doesn't take you long to go the other way.
So I'll try not to. Please keep me in check.
Kind of keep it.
I would keep me in check. So yeah.
Yeah, but I need people to understand the way, and the reason why I'm being very specific with the questions I'm asking my husband, because I have so many people that I'm helping with dating, and they're like, oh, I'm not his type, or oh, he was a certain way, or oh, he was a player. Yeah, my husband was categorically a player. You were a player. Oof. Yeah, you were a player. When I met you, you had, I think my very first question to you when I first met you was like, okay, how many people are you sleeping with? And you said 3. Why? You want to join?
So, first, talking about type, let me address that. A lot of us don't really know what we like or what we don't like,
You just know what you've been
Right.
successful with.
right? And we think of sex before any other thing, right?
That's most men.
Granted, you are smart, which is I find very appealing, but I also put myself in a category that, oh, this is what I want, right? Life shouldn't be fixed.
Agreed.
Things should be very adaptable. And at that
Fluid.
point, 23 years ago, I'm not that. But meeting you then, one of the things you did was help transform me to not just think like a specific way. And that's what I love about you. So going into the second part of the question, as in like, am I a player?
Oh, well, you were a player. You
I
better not be
was-
playing nothing right now. You were
I
a player.
was 23 years ago. I was single. I was free, ready to mingle. So,
Dabbling in a bunch of places.
as Charles would say,
you were sowing your oats.
I said my dad was what is it?
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone, right?
I can't wait till we get him in the studio.
It's not so much that I'm. Well, let me be
You are
honest.
looking for where to park your stone.
Let me be honest. There's no. I had some structures, and I didn't have some things in my life that helped me understand that these are the things you should do, and these are the things I should not do. Right.
Okay.
So, with that notion, right, I was just kind of like I was dating, I believe, 3 girls. Then you were number 4.
I was not trying to join any of that. I was
Oh,
like, yeah, I was
baby.
watching you. Wait, don't baby me.
Baby,
Wait,
you
had 3.
nah.
I asked you. No, I didn't
Yes,
join. I
you
know.
were.
Let's
You
be
were
very
in the
clear.
mix somewhere.
I was
You were
waiting for
buffering.
you. No.
You were buffering
So,
around.
I did not
You were
throw my hat.
hovering
I was
around.
hovering. Okay,
right?
agreed. I was hovering.
Okay, sure.
I hovered.
Okay.
But I did not throw my hat
Case,
in the ring.
case settled, but
I
you were
hovered.
there.
How can you say, wait, when you say I was there, that means that we were having sex. We were not having
No, we
sex
were
by the
not.
time.
True.
And if I was hovering, I said that you should clear
True.
your closet before I
True.
got
So
involved.
you.
I was hovering.
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for the coast
coast-
to clear.
Yes,
I-
I agree, but you were still.
I didn't want to be too far away because how would I know when the road is clear?
So-
So I was very specific. I was very intentional. You didn't give me that one.
Yes, you were being
I
intentional
was very
about being an
intentional.
FBI, asking me every question. I'm like,
I
do you
did.
work for like this? Like,
But you know the fun thing was you answered though.
there's no, like, I'll tell you how it is. If
You
you
did.
want, you stay with me. If, like, literally.
No. The guys think that you need to lie. That's why I was telling me a category.
23 years ago, I wasn't looking for marriage. I was looking for a good time. And,
And you tried to have a good time, almost like immediately.
Oh, 100%.
So-
100%.
Immediately.
I am very. If I want to do something, I focus on it, and I tried my best with you.
Oh,
But
absolutely. You gave it your best shot.
Oh, for
I was
sure.
just like, nah, I'm not going to join. But I had a reason behind it. And this is really about this intentionality regarding dating. And that's kind of why I always like to talk about it, because people think that, oh, well, he only wants sex. Yeah, he only wanted sex too. But look at him now, 23 years later, he obviously got the sex and then some. But the point I'm trying to make is that you as well, just because it's actually flattering when someone actually wants you. Now, what do you do with that intention? They have an intention. They came with an agenda. Now, what do you want? And I think that what I find that a lot of people have problems with is saying or sticking to what they want. Of course I liked him. He was cute. But he was cute. I thought he was sexy. He still is. I still think you're cute. Still think you're sexy. I'm still
thanks,
very
babes. So are you.
I'm still very much in love with him as I was from day one. But I was like, I also held in one hand, I held my feelings in one hand, and then I held how everything he had told me in another hand. Now, how was I going to make that change? Obviously, I could tell. Was he confused? Yes. If you can't be sleeping with 3 people and tell me you're not confused, babe, you were confused. Let's be honest.
Well, I was just going through a transformation.
Whatever.
Right?
But the point I'm trying to make.
Confused. That word is a little bit,
Okay, he
you
does not
know,
want to.
harsh.
Okay, you were So what
I
else?
was I was going through a discovery phase,
Discovery
right?
is what you want to call
Of
it. Discovering different beds.
if I want to leave my past and become a married man, that's a discovery phase. And if there's actually anyone that out there that could transform me and make me
You did-
understand,
He's
right?
not telling you the truth. He did not look about. You were not looking for marriage. I knew. I
No,
was
no,
gonna
no,
marry.
no, no. I
If you actually, wait. I
no,
actually
no.
have to tell
If
you
you
something.
tell me,
If you say marriage, if you say
I'm
love,
out.
wait. And the funny thing is, I don't know how I knew that. I knew not to tell
that's
you.
it. You
I knew not to tell you that I said I liked you, and you looked to you. You thought, oh, this is gonna be a good time.
for sure.
Meanwhile, me 3 hours in, I knew I wanted to marry him.
You told me you
But
want
I
to
did not
marry
tell
me.
him
That's it.
I did not tell him that. And I don't know
I'm out.
who gave me or what gave me that. But I don't know. Maybe I got a sense of it. But until it was a couple of years later that you told me that if you had ever told me
That's it.
initially that you were going to marry me, you would have run to the hills.
Oh, we're done. You will never see me. You
So
will never
talk
see
less
my
of-
review.
But I called my friends and I told them, I got off the plane. Okay, so we met on a plane. We met in Nigeria. Actually, we met at the airport in Nigeria. We both got on a flight going to London. We talked for 2-3 hours on the plane, had a date later on that night. And of course, he tried to have sex that night. But I was like, no. You already have people you're having sex with. So why do you want to have sex with me?
It's
and he
different.
Yeah, it was different. But but if I had actually agreed and had let you have sex then.
You never know.
No,
You'll never know.
did not have
How do you
anything.
know? How are you gonna determine what's gonna happen after? Who
had
knows?
three.
Who knows
Babe,
what's gonna happen in an hour?
Babe,
Are you got nah?
babe.
Yes.
You had 3 people. How would I be any different? How could I have been any different?
I don't know if I don't try.
No, but you are allowed to try. And
Absolutely.
you got a bit of a taste
Yes.
that gave you to like, okay, I think this one might be my spec.
Okay.
Right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay, but the point I'm trying to make is, and you have to be honest with this, if you already had 3 and I joined immediately then, I don't believe he would take me any different from any of the others because I would have been one of 3. I would have been number 4 as you categorically wanted to put me.
But if I have 3 girls, have you thought that there might be something missing that I'm looking for as well?
And that was why I stood on the sidelines. It was
Okay.
intentional.
So you're a side chick.
I just, F you. I'll be a side chick when I'm your wife.
Oh, then.
I was not a side chick.
All right.
Nobody was your wife. You had 3.
Okay.
How were you?
I was trying to make 7 days a week, but
You wanted one. What you're looking for? Like, what were you ludicrous? Like one in every area code. You wanted one in America. You wanted one in Birmingham. One in London.
I'm not that bad. I was
Wait,
just
you're making jokes. You know, people listening to this will take you
Yeah.
seriously.
But yeah, I was a bit of a
That's why I said you're a
I'll
player.
play it.
It takes
for
you a
sure.
while. My husband
But
likes to have a...
what do people do when they're not married? They enjoy themselves, right?
Exactly, but this entire conversation is supposed to be helping people that meet men in situations such as yours and trying to
Absolutely.
teach them what they should do. Because
Absolutely.
I knew the reason why I knew you were the one for me was because of the conversation and the chemistry we had. And the way I could talk to you back then, I could not talk to anybody like that.
Agreed.
And I feel like even for you, when you sit back and you think about it, it wasn't a case of just the chemistry was obviously there because I think I kissed you within a couple of we kissed real quick, but there was a lot of chemistry. There was, other than the sexual chemistry that was there was a lot of
Intellectual conversation.
Yes, we
right?
had that. We were talking. I was asking you about like, what did you have planned for 5 years, and you were probably like, why do you want to know what I have planned for 5 years? And I kept asking you all these questions that you probably hadn't had anyone ask you before. Within the first, I knew what I wanted to do in 3 hours because every answer you gave me was just building my dream. Women are like that. We can't dream. You can smile, Sif. We can turn a whole smile into something. So you smiled. You were flirty. You were you were very aggressive, and you were a bit of an ass because you were like yes, you were
In
a bit
what
of an ass.
way?
When
Remind
I'm
me.
saying like how many people, he's like, oh, do you want to join that? I said, how many people are you
I was
sleeping
being
with?
truthful.
Yeah, but some people will call that being an ass. You were a bit of like, hey, you want to join the harem?
I'm learning.
But it's okay. I loved your honesty though. I always say it to anyone listening and to the people that I'm helping with dating. take a person's honesty. Don't judge them for their honesty. Take their honesty and take it for what it is and know that, oh, this person is actually truthful. At least I know the lay of the land. And it was also because my mommy had already told me that, you need to be very wise when it comes to dating men. Don't be mad that he has more. If he has more people, the more people he has, that's the more confused he is. That's where the confused came from. I didn't come from you. It came from a comment from an older woman who had the same situation happen to her too. That's my mentor. I know I'm mentoring people.
It's true.
I have people that mentor me too. And she had that conversation with me when I was 20.
Yes.
When it was 20. And I didn't kick in. I didn't use that advice until I met you at 27.
It's true. Dating it has to be intentional,
Very.
right? A person, has to really have a set agenda of what they want to accomplish.
An idea, yeah.
And go
Of what
for
they
it,
want.
right? But the thing is that a lot of people, out there just are looking for something and they don't really have the details of what they're looking for, the type of person, the type of environment he has to be in. And that's definitely really, something that I believe it's worthwhile thinking of.
For me, I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted somebody as dashing as you.
Oh,
as Buki would say, Buki is the big brother. Buki Olokpade was the guy that was with us, my big brother, who introduced us. And he would say, in Nigeria, in Yoruba, he would say, "Oh, to like fine boyju," which means technically that you like cute guys. Yes, I do like cute guys. And I know, but the thing you guys don't understand is, with intention, you have to understand that even if you like a cute guy, you also have to be able to attract it as well. You have to take really good care of yourself. You have to be able to take good care of yourself to keep that attention on yourself. A lot of people end up getting with somebody that's cute and then they let themselves go and then they wonder why it deviates. You always have to remember that even if you're able to attract it, you have to maintain it. Crucial. So, but for us, what did you think marriage would be like? I'm like, should we even jump to what you think marriage should be like? No, let me go back. What was it that set me aside from the three others? Outside of all the other things that we've talked about. Like it or not, I still think that it's because I wasn't like them that made me stand out.
I like the fact that you're smart. You challenged me. When we're talking about 23 years ago, right? Most people just do what I tell them to do then.
Oh, yeah, you told them to jump and they said, how high?
I wasn't really going to give them anything, so they tried to impress me.
Wow.
Right?
You were not going to give them anything?
Right, in terms of like commitment, right?
Okay.
And you know that, right?
I do.
But the fact is, why you're smart, witty. One thing about us is we've always had fun conversation. We
always have fun, period.
We could talk for many hours. We both like to travel. You bring out the best of me. That is the key, right?
I think it's because I understand you.
I'm going there. I'm going somewhere, okay. Right? You would take me for all my flaws
and then
and turn it and make me see it in a way that's not judgmental, right? But still work with me to become better. And you've done that for 23 years, right? I would not be, and I say that because I don't actually believe anybody else could take your place. That's true. Because I would not be the person I am today without you.
So I bring out the best in you.
100%. I
would actually say that when it comes to, you do too, you make me want to be better. No, I'm gonna, this is important because if I didn't get better, we're going to get into our early days. But if I didn't get better, you wouldn't have got better too. True. We were both messed up. We didn't realize we were messed up. That's the funny thing is we
won't use the word messed up.
Okay,
but we had different.
We had issues.
Notions of what life is. Absolutely.
I would say messed up.
Raised by our background is different.
our background is different, but also similar because we are both
Yes.
from broken homes.
It's true.
So mine was broken, yours was broken. I knew how to talk to people. I was super friendly. You were friendly. I was looking for somebody at that point in time that could just understand me. That was literally all I was looking for. And in that first couple of minutes, the fact that you were able to see that, okay, yeah, you traveled with your group of friends, you knew my friends, you knew some of them, we could talk, you were not judgmental. Because me then, I need to describe what I was wearing then. I had a tongue piercing and a bunch of other piercings. And then I had bright red hair. My boobs were still nice and perky, so I was braless with some backless top. And so I was not the atypical Nigerian anything. I probably look Jamaican, maybe. I don't know.
I won't put you to a try. You're different.
Yeah, but it's not. Most people that had met me then, the first thing that came out of their mouths would be, oh, you are a lot. Or you need to change, or I got that, or you need to tone it down.
I actually did not see that when I saw you. I saw
you loved all of that.
I mean, some of the things that attracted me to you. You were very caring. Remember? Remember some of the experience we had was like you were actually shopping for your sisters.
That's true.
Right. I was with you, and I'm like, who's gonna buy?
And I was trying on everybody's
right? And
things.
I'm like, she's not even buying. She's like very selfless. She's not even buying things for herself. She's like thinking of her other sister. And she was there for like hours.
And you look like you worked in the store because literally.
Right? And I'm like, if someone could care this much for our sister, this is the person that I'm looking for. Because for me, coming from a broken home, my mom was the only one that gave me safety. So I'm actually see someone that could actually be something more than my mom, because I'm very close to my mom, and I was very close with you. We're very close, and you kind of like, you give me that safety, right? You replaced
your mom,
what I had with my mom, so that just made me more vulnerable with you. I could tell you anything and you're not gonna judge me, and I just fell in love with that.
Part of what I feel like a lot of marriages are missing is actually what you literally just said, is understanding each other. I understand you, you understand me, but we both push each other to be better without judging each other. Would you agree?
That is true.
Because I know the people that we've worked with, he was like, some guys will say, oh, I can't tell my wife this, or I can't tell my husband this. But like it or not, you need to be able to have that conversation. And I find that a lot of people don't think about the fact that if I can't, everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to say everything that's going on with them. One of the things that people always end up doing with me is they tell me everything. I guess mainly because they realize that I won't judge, because if I can talk about myself and I'm not judging myself and I can put myself out there, they realize that, okay, if she's this open-minded about her own situation and not judging herself, then she won't judge me. But I swear I'll be in an elevator and somebody will come out. When we were at the dentist office the other day, the woman just spilled her beer. And my husband's like, how do you get people to do this thing?
That's your gift. That's what makes you you.
And I literally, she was telling me within 15 minutes, I was able to tell her like, well, this is what you're doing wrong. And this is what happened with your dad. And she was like, you get it.
You give sound advice. That's your gift, right? And I'm really excited about that for you.
But when I think back to what I was trying to bring this whole intentionality with marriages is like, people think that marriages, it's not like we didn't have a bumpy phase, because remember, we had a very bumpy phase because he's this individual who's used to getting his own way. I'm used to fighting to get my way. I had to fight my dad. I had to fight through, I've always been used to stating my case, fighting through stuff to get what I want. And he's just used to having everything just handed to him. So imagine the two of us, we were bumping heads a lot in the early days. Did you think that would ever end?
I believe it's a phase we had to go through. That's how we'll learn.
But did you think it would have ended back then?
And the relationship or this come to an end
meaning that, did you think that all the issues we had, because it's like, would it ever end? Because when you're going through anything, you never think that it's going to end.
You're different. I mean, you wake me up 3 o'clock in the morning to have a conversation. That don't make sense to me. So that
I was hurting.
That to me is like every issue should not be, should not be.
Give context. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning when we're dealing with cheating.
Baby. regardless of what the issue is,
I was hurting.
we could wake. You could wait till 7 a.m. to have
I
a
was
conversation.
hurting, and you were the reason why I was hurting.
honestly do not understand why someone will wake me up in the middle of the night and
Now I
keep
know
me
he
up,
likes to sleep.
right? And keep me up from that hour to 7. Because at that time, no matter what you're telling me, nothing's going to go through my ears. I want to sleep.
Hey, but like it or not, as a woman,
That's the
You
woman
were
I
the
was in
one-
a relationship with. And I adapt, right? It's not the
I don't
best.
wake you at
but-
3 o'clock anymore.
Oh my God, no.
Then
I wouldn't even wake up because I love my sleep.
We don't have those issues anymore either.
We're past that. But yes, I never thought I would see the end of it. I thought that, you would argue like a lawyer. So I'm like,
I should
baby,
have done. I should have been.
I'm like, baby, not everything should be, you shouldn't be so defensive and have a point on everything. Just see things for what they are, right? And she would argue, and I'm like, Jesus, is this ever going to end? But I'm glad we went through that.
I feel like every argument.
I'm glad it made us know ourselves better because
Agreed.
with that phase, we won't be where we are today.
And I think the reason why I brought up the issues, or some of them that we used to have, was for a particular reason, was because a lot of people go through things and they think that it's never going to end.
Oh.
Everything you're going through has
Life-
an end, has an end.
Life
But-
is a process.
Absolutely. But for us, I feel like every issue we had, we learned from.
Yes.
And so if you're looking at it that way, you realize that even if you're dealing with something right now, it will pass. But was there a lesson you needed to learn? And in some of the times when we had issues, I did not learn the lessons as quickly as I thought I would. And that's because I didn't have the right foundation. I feel like our son is going to have,
Oh,
he's going to be so much better.
He's on the right path.
He's on the right path regarding
He's on the
relationships
right path.
because I try to make sure that I explain to him another person's point of view so he doesn't just see his own. And my husband initially, and even me, I'm not even just my husband, I also didn't see his point of view. And I feel like a lot of people do that. You don't see the other person's point of view. All you see is your own. And for me, all I could see was I am doing all of these things that I think a wife should do. Here's what I think he should do. And I would literally tell him. And he's like, who the F are you telling? Do you remember those days? Like, who are you telling to do A, B, C, D, E?
Because that's not the best way to make me do anything.
I know now, but I didn't know that before. And I think that a lot of people also do not know that. A lot of people don't realize that there are other ways to get the person to do what you want, most of the time by example.
Very true.
So for us now, what advice would you give to somebody that's dating or somebody that would want to date somebody like you? Ooh, that's a good question. What advice would you give? Because a lot of people are in this phase of dating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
When 23 years ago, I actually thought I wasn't going to marry because I don't believe that there was a right person that would tolerate me or actually work with me. So my advice would be,
Don't give up.
most men are confused, ladies. That's the fact. You just have to be patient enough to find the right person that's for you and be willing to work with them, because everybody's going to be a project, right? We are all,
Work in progress.
work in
like we always
progress.
like to
So
call
you
ourselves.
find that person, just understand their strengths, understand their weaknesses, and know the role you play in it. And
Good advice. Very good advice. And what advice would you give? Okay, so that's for the women. What advice would you give the men?
wow, that's a deep one.
Okay, only in the dating, because you're gonna come back on the show, right? You're not. This is not a one-shot deal. Like, I haven't scared you off, have I?
No,
Okay.
that's a long shot.
Yeah, okay, so you'll be back. But for this one, in the dating category,
We shouldn't be too fixed on
type.
type that I want someone that's either a Coca-Cola bottle or
light skin.
There shouldn't be a
Long
color.
hair.
I mean, honestly, as you know, I'm very,
Visual.
that, in terms of the people I would date, it's I go with what flows with my mind. So I think people should really
Open their minds. a little.
have an open mind.
It's not all about looks.
It's not about looks for sure. Try to know who you are and try to look for a person that will take you from that point and elevate you,
Hmm.
right?
Good one.
Growth, I mean,
Growth is key.
it's key.
But what about the men that find it difficult to listen to women that are trying to help them? Because a lot of men are like that. You know, we had our struggles as well in the early days whereby I would tell you, babe, this is a good move for you to do either school-wise, okay, school-wise, you listen, but like work-wise, you remember when we had those arguments about work, hey, you should do this, and you're like, you don't tell me what to do.
You know, again, most men are difficult because they have an underlying
Issue.
that's holding them back.
Okay.
Either the way they've been raised. So again, don't try to be too fixed on.
These are the guys you're advising.
Yes, don't try to be too fixed that I'm not gonna try something, because if you don't try, you don't get.
Agreed.
Right? So be open-minded. Just go for a date. If that one doesn't work, go out again.
Okay. One way I would say it would be like, think about the fact that the woman that is meeting you is not, if you sit back and think about it, think about the advice and think about, does it actually help you, or is it detrimental to your life? Is it beneficial or is it detrimental? Because if you look back on some of the times that I've told you certain things that were actually beneficial for you, you just did not want to listen. And a lot of men, especially husbands that I know that I'm dealing with right now, will say, hey, my wife said so, but I didn't listen.
That is true.
You are also privy to that. It just got to the point. And this intentional comments would be like,
don't have a criteria, right? People have a list. Oh, man, we say, I have to, she has to be this, she has to be this, she has to,
We're actually talking about the ones that have already gotten into, men that have already gotten into a relationship and they're literally having issues with the person that they're with because they just don't listen. What would make a man, because from your man point of view, we talk about things now and we still have many little arguments. None of them last very long because we now know each other better. I know how to handle you better and you know how to handle me, and you don't take offense to things the way you used to back in the day. So what advice would you give to men out there, husbands, boyfriends, what have you? Think about the fact, I think, because we talked about this before, and I think you said that it would be better if people actually realize that the person that has come into your life is not there to be your competition.
100%.
They're not there to be detrimental.
It's not your enemy.
It's not your enemy.
Right? It's a teamwork. That's one thing I would say, right? If you could do something by yourself and get 100%, and if you could work with the other person, just look at the multiplication effect you're going to have.
The both of you will succeed together. You both win.
So it's not a competition. It's a joint venture.
It is.
With one purpose of solely winning. And
Absolutely.
It's good for two people to win together.
Absolutely.
So that's the advice I would offer.
Yeah. And when you're in the dating department, I think that what a lot of you don't realize when you're dating, and I talk about this a lot when we talk about intentional dating, is you have to know yourself. It starts with that. Granted, my husband knew himself to a certain point. He knew he liked interesting. He knew he liked interesting, smart. But it wasn't necessarily what you were. Oh, I think the girls you were dating before was smart. See, that's the funny thing is I actually know the people he was dating too. I didn't know them, but I heard of them. And I could actually talk to you and say, hey, despite everything, that there were still parts of it that there were still things about these various people that I was able to learn from. Like there were things that you liked from each one. If you're a woman and you're dating somebody like my husband and you're trying to get that, and you know that this is the kind of person that you see yourself.
Your husband now or before?
I only have one husband.
No, your husband went out before I got married?
So now you just confused me. What do you mean?
You said if you're
trying to date somebody like with your personality.
Oh, gotcha.
You can.
Okay.
Who's trying to marry them? There's no divorce in this situation.
No. That's to death do us apart, my love.
Okay.
All right.
But that's
I was just trying to get some clarity.
Even that comment that he just made was not a comment we both used to make before. I used to say F you, and he used to say same. We didn't have what we just said, like, well, it's death do us part. We didn't even have the know-how to say something like that, because I used to always think that, you know what, I only had one child because I used to think about the fact that if anything happens, I need to be able to take my bag in one hand and my son in another hand. And
Safety net.
yeah, basically, that was my defense mechanism. But you know, the problem with that is that it ends up leaving you in a position whereby you're not giving that relationship everything that you should. Hello? We didn't give the relationship everything that we should in the early days. We wanted it to work, but we weren't all in. We kept thinking I was like one leg
how
in.
can we?
We didn't know any better.
We didn't have the tools, right?
No, we did not.
We found our own blueprint through our own mistakes.
Yes,
So
and from every mistake and every argument that we've had, we've learned.
100%.
Granted, that's part of what we try to do now is we try to give people use from our experiences, and we try to give people this guide. Like, you know what, if we could do it with our background, so also can they. We didn't have, you know, when we talk about our son, we say it all the time that he's going to be in a better position, mainly because he's seen that, okay, you don't have to 100% be exactly. My mom and my dad are very different, but they still found a way to make it work. And I don't sugarcoat it. He sees us have arguments, but he also sees us end it. And so these are all the things that he's going to also see and take with him into the future and into his relationships. And that's why we're excited for him. But for you, that you're in the middle of an argument, yeah, don't curse the person out, because again, you're going to need that person like 5 minutes from now. So don't curse that person out. Remember that you need to, yes, I understand you want to get your point out, but even though you're trying to get your point out, you have to find a way to do it in a way that the person across from you or your partner can actually hear you and not be offended by it.
I love that what you just said there. In the midst of an argument, one thing I love about you is that you're always the bigger person, because I'm very short-tempered. I have to be honest. I'm very, very short-tempered. So when we're in an argument, you know, you have this mechanism of helping us diffuse things, like, you know, just, it's not an argument, you know, it's not a
I'm
fight.
not fighting you.
Right?
My favorite words.
It's
I'm
not a
fighting you.
fight. This is my point of view, right? And that just kind of like
calms you.
Helps me calm down that, okay, we're not in, you know, this is not a battle, because, you know, I'm a guy that likes to stand up for myself a lot before I met my wife. So I'm like, oh, you want to go there?
He's a fighter.
but I love that. Another thing I love about you, you know, there's always a tone.
Tone.
That has to be used when conversation get heated.
Absolutely.
And I love you because you always know, okay, how to baby. And that's like, by the time you say it 3 times, right? I've gone from like boiling point of like 120 to like 30. So I appreciate you.
And yeah, but like it or not, I love that you came today. I am grateful that you graced me with your presence in the studio. Thank you for supporting this venture of mine. Thank you for allowing me. If you don't know, my husband is super private. If I left it to him, he would not post a picture. He's not on Instagram. He doesn't want to be anywhere. But because of me, he does the little bits, but I also know not to push. I don't push his buttons too far.
When you love someone, you go out of your comfort zone to make sure you please that person. And for the past 23 years, that's what you are to me. You've given more to make me full, and this is my own way of just paying back. So of course I'm happy to be here, and you're gonna do extremely well, sweetheart. You're so smart, and I can't wait for you to continue to share your knowledge with the podcast community, and you know, and just help others get to where we are, because this thing called love ain't easy, love.
No, it's not. It's not, but it can be done though.
Yeah,
but do you? Okay, so that's the last question I have for you. Do you, and yeah, I know this might sound weird, but what has love done to you? Did you know love prior to us getting together? Can you say that you knew what love meant?
Wow.
What was love to you?
No, I did not. Love to me was based on what I saw. On my father's side, he would just give me money. So that's one part I took, right? And that's what I know how to do.
He used to give good gifts.
On my mother's side, right?
She spoiled you.
Safety right? Because my mom wasn't didn't find safety in my father, right? She will shelter me and give me that safety. So that's why, for me, I could tell my mom anything. There's some things we will share in the future about when I met my wife. Well, when
After
I
you
met,
had sex. We might as well say it now. After you had sex, his mother was the first person he called.
yes, and that's the kind of relationship I have with my mom. But do I know love then? A lot. I realize, looking back now, I realize that I use the word a lot,
Okay.
but I actually don't know
What it means.
what it means until I met you.
Okay.
Because that journey wasn't clear to me, right? You know, love to me equals sex. So most time, if I don't use the word, right?
You
Because
actually used to run from the word.
I run from the word. So because it's just like, okay, you're trying to trap me, right?
I guess I was a smart one because I didn't say the word, but I knew I was trying to trap you.
Try, and I'm not gonna let anyone trap me, not with the child, not with anything. So I played that game to the best I know, but I didn't know what love is. Love for me growing up is saying my mom and my dad get into an argument and they break up. So I didn't want to be part of that, and actually made the decision that I'm not gonna marry. So, but through our self-discovery, actually found that love is a beautiful thing. And one of the greatest things that has come out of our relationship is our son. I just look at him and it just gives me so much joy, life, to know that
your life is going to be better than
these two people that came from nowhere actually made you.
Yeah. And he's just doing
very structured, very well mannered, very polite,
very
driven,
smart, very ambitious,
and one of our greatest accomplishment as parents. So
I don't think we'd just be together if not for our son, though. I say that all the time.
Yes,
because I feel
he
like
has a part to play in it.
Yeah, I feel like because of our son,
and he plays it very well.
Yeah.
Right, but
we wouldn't have fought as hard to be back together if he wasn't there.
I would have been being the English in me. I'm like,
being the acid.
F it, and I'm like,
F it's like F you and everything you came with that.
I'm going because nothing to lose, like nothing venture, nothing. Like, okay, it was good while it was good, and
yeah, bye. It was fun,
keep
but
it moving.
later.
But like, I know love now. And it fills my heart, right? The joy
that you're not standing alone.
The joy that I don't have to disguise to you who I am.
Who you are, yeah.
I can show my vulnerability, and it with you just makes me feel,
same.
I believe that you're the one for me, because I believe everybody has that person for them, but I truly believe that God created you to be the one for me, right? And
to make me cry.
It's something that wasn't easy, but I'm happy with the output for sure.
Happy.
I'm happy.
Alrighty then. Anyway, like it or not, that's how we just breeze through our time. But I don't know, how should I say this? I love that you came into the studio. I have to thank you again for coming. I have to say that I will thank you properly later.
You don't have to, but if you want to, I'll take. But the truth is that you give me so much joy, and you fill my heart with so much happiness, and I'm just so excited and happy for you in this new journey.
Thank you.
And
you're gonna come back though, right? Because we didn't really get into the deep stuff. Because there's a lot of stuff we can talk about. We got a lot of topics. So I know you're busy, but you're gonna promise to come back.
You'll come back? Yes, I'll come back. It's not that bad actually. It's
See,
actually
I told you it wouldn't be so bad.
it's cool, and I love the environment.
There you
It's
go.
really chill,
All right.
very warm. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll come back. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much again for joining me on another episode of Deliberately Intentional. Don't forget, new episodes will be available 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spotify and Apple. And the video where you get to see my gorgeous face and my handsome chocolate husband will also be available at 6 p.m. Thank you so much for joining.
We love you. Thank you.
We love you.